Welcome to English Easy Hub. Join us as we ignite the flames of your English learning journey together.
Please subscribe to watch and embark on your English learning journey. Don't miss out on the exciting content. Alex is eager to improve his ability to think in English without relying on translation. He seeks guidance from his teacher on how to develop this skill effectively. Throughout the conversation, they explore various techniques, including immersion, vocabulary expansion, shadowing, storytelling, and structured thinking exercises. The discussion also touches on overcoming mental barriers, staying motivated, and building confidence in English thinking and speaking. With practical advice and deep insights, this conversation serves as a valuable guide for anyone striving to make English a natural part of their thought process.
Teacher, I've been working on improving my ability to think in English, but I find myself constantly translating in my head. How can I stop this habit and start thinking directly in English?
That's a fantastic question, Alex. Thinking in English requires training your brain to associate words, ideas, and concepts directly with English, rather than filtering them through your native language. One of the best ways to do this is by surrounding yourself with English as much as possible. Start by labeling things around you in English. When you see a chair, don't think of the word in your native language first. Just say chair in your mind. Build this habit with common objects, actions, and even emotions. Over time, your brain will start bypassing translation and directly linking English to meaning.
That makes sense. But I feel that when I try to think in English, I get stuck because I don't know enough words. How can I expand my vocabulary while keeping my thoughts flowing?
Great observation. Expanding your vocabulary is crucial, but it's not just about memorizing words. It's about actively using them. Try this technique. Every day, pick 5 new words or phrases and make it a goal to use them in your thoughts and sentences throughout the day. If you don't know a specific word while thinking, don't let that stop you. Instead, describe it using the words you do know. For example, if you don't remember umbrella, you can think of it as the thing that keeps me dry in the rain. This forces you to stay in English and improves your ability to paraphrase, which is an essential skill for fluency.
That's an interesting approach. But sometimes, I feel like my thoughts in English don't sound natural. They're choppy, and I struggle to structure them smoothly. How can I make my English thinking more fluid?
That's a common challenge, Alex. One reason for this is that your brain is still adjusting to English sentence structures. To improve fluency in your thoughts, try shadowing. Shadowing means listening to native speakers, whether from a podcast, movie, or YouTube video, and immediately repeating what they say, copying their intonation and rhythm. This helps train your brain to think in English naturally. Another technique is storytelling. At the end of each day, try summarizing what happened to you in English, either out loud or in your head. This builds your ability to construct logical thoughts smoothly.
Shadowing sounds like a great method. But I'm also curious, should I focus more on speaking English to develop my thinking skills, or is silent thinking just as effective?
Both are important, but speaking out loud has a powerful impact. When you think in English silently, your brain processes the language, but when you speak, you engage multiple skills at once. Your brain, mouth, and ears work together, reinforcing your learning. Even if you're alone, try speaking your thoughts aloud. You can narrate your actions. I'm making coffee. I need to send an email. I should go to bed soon. This trains your brain to think and respond in English naturally.
That makes sense. But sometimes, I find myself getting distracted, and my mind switches back to my native language. How can I stay disciplined and keep my thoughts in English?
That's completely normal at first, but you could train yourself to stay on track. One technique is setting designated English thinking times. For example, decide that for the first 30 minutes of your morning routine, you will only think in English. Another helpful trick is using mental triggers. For example, every time you see a clock, remind yourself to check your thoughts and switch back to English if necessary. Writing reminders on your phone or in a notebook can also reinforce the habit.
I like that idea. I'll try setting an English thinking time every day. But what about complex thoughts? When I need to reason through something deeper, I struggle to do it in English. How can I improve that?
Great question. Complex thoughts require deeper engagement with English. One way to practice is by debating with yourself. Choose a topic, let's say, is social media good or bad? And argue both sides in your head in English. This forces you to structure your thoughts clearly. Another technique is journaling. Write down your thoughts on personal topics, opinions, or even philosophical ideas in English. The more you train your brain to handle complexity in English, the more natural it will become.
That sounds like a challenge, but I'm excited to try. Another thing I wonder about is dreaming. I've heard people say that when you start dreaming in English, it means you're fluent. Is that true?
That's an interesting question. Dreaming in English is a sign that your brain is becoming more comfortable with the language, but it's not the only indicator of fluency. Some people start dreaming in English early, while others don't, even if they speak fluently. The key is regular exposure. If you listen to English before bed, read books, or immerse yourself daily, your brain is more likely to process English during sleep. But don't worry if you're not dreaming in English yet. Focus on active practice, and fluency will come naturally.
That's reassuring. I've also noticed that when I read books in English, I sometimes still translate in my head. How can I break that habit?
A great way to stop translating is to use extensive reading. Choose books that are slightly below your maximum comprehension level so that you can understand most of the content without needing to translate. Also, try reading aloud. This engages your brain differently, making you more aware of the sounds and flow of English. Another trick is visualization. Imagine the scenes and actions as you read, connecting the words directly to their meaning instead of translating them.
That's a smart technique. But sometimes, I feel self-conscious when I practice speaking English, especially around others. How can I build confidence?
Confidence comes with practice. One effective method is recording yourself speaking in English and listening to the playback. This helps you identify areas for improvement while getting comfortable with your voice in English. Also, remind yourself that mistakes are part of the learning process. Native speakers won't judge you for them. Focus on communication, not perfection. The more you practice, the more confident you'll feel.
I see. What about watching English content? Should I use subtitles, or is it better to watch without them?
It depends on your level. If you're a beginner, using English subtitles can help reinforce listening and comprehension. But as you improve, try watching without subtitles. You can also use the dual subtitle method. Watch once with English subtitles, then re-watch without them. This trains your ears to rely on English alone.
That's a useful strategy. My final question, what's the biggest mindset shift I need to make to truly start thinking in English?
The biggest mindset shift is embracing English as part of your identity. Don't see it as a foreign language you're learning. See it as a tool for thinking, expressing, and understanding the world. The moment you stop thinking of English as a second language and start treating it as a natural part of your daily life, your fluency will accelerate.
That's inspiring. Thank you so much, teacher. I feel more motivated than ever to practice thinking in English every day.
You're very welcome, Alex. Keep up the great work, and soon, thinking in English will feel as natural as breathing. Keep going and enjoy the process.
In this conversation, Alex gains a deeper understanding of how to train his brain to think directly in English. His teacher provides insightful strategies, emphasizing daily practice, mental discipline, and confidence-building techniques. From setting dedicated English thinking times to using self-debates, journaling, and active listening, the discussion highlights that fluency is not just about knowing words, but about embracing English as a natural way of thinking. Ultimately, the key takeaway is that consistency, exposure, and a positive mindset will lead to effortless English thinking, making it an integral part of everyday life.
Thanks for watching. Remember to subscribe, like, comment, and share to keep the English learning journey alive.